We're on page 33 of the book, Crop the Canvas and Place Ruler Guides. We've already talked in the class about bleeds. Remember, bleeds are outside the trim area. The bleed allowance is the amount of extra space that needs to be included for a bleed. Usually it's about 1/8 of an inch, although certain printer companies will request different allowances. We also have to have the live area. Remember, that's why we are always placing margins, is to allow for a live area so that if anything were to accidentally be cut slightly inside that trim area, you wouldn't lose anything of vast importance. For our purposes here, we're going to want a 1/4 inch margin all the way around. That is our live area. For this project, our live area is 9.5 inches square, and the trim size is 10-inch square. Pick up the crop tool. Yes, we know. I don't need to learn more right now. And you're going to resize the image to the 10.25 inch that we need to have the 1/8 inch bleed all the way around. Now you're going to need to zoom in really tight on this so that you can actually get the sizing correct. The book recommends at least 50%. I would say go in a little bit more, and I'm going to be watching the cursor to see what size I'm getting. I'm going to cheat a little bit because I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to do this exactly the way I would like it to be done. So I'm also going to use my rulers up on the top as well, and I'm going to drag in to get the size of this, the width to be 10.5 inches. Why is my, oh, it's bringing it in from both sides. Let me check that. Nope. Oh, there it is. Okay, 10.25. My rulers got off somehow. So I'm going to read this at 10.25, and it's going to be really difficult. You're going to have to take some time to really work with that and maybe zoom in a little bit tighter so that you have more room. I just keep popping there, kept popping right over the top of that, and then down from the top as well. Now from the top we were at an 11 inch, so I'm going to need to be very careful how I bring that down because I'm only taking off 3/4 of an inch. And my rulers bounced around. And I know it seems really picky, but you do want to keep your numbers accurate because you can have a lot of problems if you're off even by a small amount. And of course we need to now slide the image over so that she's on the left hand side and place her. Notice that you're getting this divided up. This is automatically breaking the image up by the rule of thirds. So if you've done any photography work, you might be interested in using the rule of thirds to break this image down, putting the points of interest along the lines as you see fit. And then you can either press enter or the check mark in your control bar, and that will accept the crop. There is a good read about the crop tools in depth on pages 37 and 38. There are a lot of items that have been added to the cropping such as being able to straighten images out that have curves to them because of the lens effect. You can have auto centering done, crop shields. There's just so many options that are available, and it's really time consuming to go through all of these, and I'd like to skip through this as quickly as possible. There's also a perspective crop tool, content aware cropping, so there's just so many options available. So we are now moving on to page 39, and you're going to choose View and New Guide Layout. This is going to put up a set of custom guides, and we're going to be able to specify what kind of margin we want. This one is pre-built for a that I've got open, is giving a 1/2 inch bottom and right with a 1/4 inch on or an 1/8 inch on the top and left, and so we're going to have to manually put in all of our values to 1/8 of an inch. So uncheck columns, uncheck rows if they are checked, and all 4 margin fields need to be the 1/8 of an inch. Now that just set our margins up for the bleed. Everything outside that is going to be able to be cropped off. Change your view now, go into 100%, and by the way, you can do the same thing. Double clicking the hand tool will bring it to fit up inside. Double clicking the zoom tool brings you to a 100% view. And in the top left corner, we want to pull up over to there, so let's get up there, and you're going to click the 0 point crosshairs and drag to the top left intersection. So we're going to re-zero our document. So instead of being zeroed, and you can do this the same thing in Illustrator as well, to re-zero, which I don't believe we messed with at all, but you can line up then with the cross of the guidelines and re-zero, so that the 0 point is now that lining up with the margins or with the guides. Although most of our tools are very similar in Photoshop, well, we do have a selection tool. It's a path select tool. We instead have a move tool. We're going to choose the move tool and then open Window Info, and we're going to click on the horizontal ruler and create another guideline at a 1/4 inch. So use your info, and you can use your cursor and use your rulers. There. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my vertical line. If I double click the intersection of the 2 rulers, I am going to reset my 0 point to the original position. An easier way to do this all would be to simply go into View, which I don't know why they don't just tell you how to do this to start with. Go to New Guide. You're going to select to place a new guide in. Horizontally, position is going to be 9.875 and say OK, and then repeat that for a vertical guide. And now if you zoom out to 100%, you'll see you have both sets of guides placed. Then go back into View and lock your guides so that you can't accidentally move them, and you should save your file.